What is up, family? Make every second count, family. I am so pumped to be here tonight. I know I'm always pumped, but I am Jeff Marconette Jr., the international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. And yes, this is my show. It's called Make Every Second Count Live, where we talk to people in life and they tell us about the things that they have gone through, grown through, and got past or are going through at the present moment. But I ask you guys if you would please share this episode out. Invite all kinds of people to watch it. Don't forget to give us hearts, likes, whatever. Give us frowny faces, cry faces. It doesn't matter. Just help us track the algorithm on any of the socials that we're on. Also, keep the comments coming because we want to have a conversation, not just make a presentation to you. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Travis. Hey, Travis, how are you this evening?
Jeff, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic, and I'm so lucky that you're actually here. Like, I have so many people that don't show up to be on this show, and I'm like, what's going on here, guys? So I really find it to be valuable when somebody shows up and actually shows up on time. So thank you.
Well, you're very welcome.
So, if you would like to go through a short introduction, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay.
I'm going to be inviting a few people on my phone so we get some people hopefully commenting. All right?
All right. That sounds good. Well,
Cool.
I'm Travis Brady. Yes, my name is Travis, and I use the pronouns she and her. I live in North Carolina, and my day job is as head of people for a quarry business here in the Southeast.
That is so good. Now, I know that we were talking before about you being with working with a lot of people from the affected areas in North Carolina.
That's right. That's right.
So has it been well, first of all, we have to tell that there was a hurricane in Florida, and that hurricane came up the coast and it hit North Carolina. And there's some extreme flooding in western North Carolina
that's
where
right.
people are devastated. And when I mean devastated, I mean devastated. These people lost everything they have, and it's just crazy. So I wanted just to tell you guys a little bit about that because I think it's poignant that we pick up on somebody else is struggling out there at the same time. So remember, it's not just you. It's not just Travis. It's not just me. It is all of us collectively. We're all struggling in one way or another. And that's what I want this show to do, be able to help people that are going through something, have gone through something, or are going to be going through something. Because if you're not now and you haven't had to, you're lucky. But guess what? It's coming. I promise you that it's coming. And no, I'm not saying floodwaters. I'm not saying Travis's adversity. I'm not saying car wreck, but something is coming that is going to try and hold you down, hold you back in life. And I want people to be prepared for that stuff. So, Travis, I know personally that you see I was in a car wreck at 17. I spent 2.5 months in a coma, 3.5 in the hospital, and I wasn't supposed to be walking right now, but I am. I had to learn some things and grow through that experience, but I did. So I know firsthand that there are some things that you have to grow through. So, has life given you anything that you have had to grow through?
Everything that you just said, there's so many things that I want to say. And yes, life has given me things that I've had to grow through. And what I would say to everything that you just talked about is that the human condition for all of us is that we will be challenged at some time.
Yeah.
And the thing that this, month and talking with you is about for me is growing through stage 3 breast cancer.
Stage 3?
Yes.
Now, can I ask what's the difference between the stages?
It has to do with the cancer growth and if the cancer has spread. So for me, stage 3 meant that the cancer had spread to my lymph nodes. So it wasn't only in my breast, it had actually traveled to other parts of my body. That's what that means.
Wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. That had to be tough. But what was the diagnosis like? I mean, when they told you that you had cancer,
Mhm.
what feelings did that cause inside you?
For me, the original, because I actually didn't think, I found the lump myself when I was playing with my daughter, who was then 3 years old. I was tickling her on the bed and she accidentally kicked me. And I just lurched up and felt this thing that I thought was a swollen lymph node. I didn't even consider that it could be cancer. And by the time that I ended up seeing the doctor and getting that first biopsy, I mean, when they told me, I was in utter disbelief. I mean, it's one of those things, and I know because I've talked to lots of other cancer survivors and thrivers that first inclination is just one of this can't be happening. This can't be happening to me.
Wow. That's so sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. Now, I I, I think that getting a cancer diagnosis a lot of times carries an extreme weight with it. Now, I can't I don't have experience in this, but the way I see it is that when somebody is told they have cancer, that's kind of like somebody telling you your life is over. Is that correct?
Yes. The short answer is yes. And what's interesting to me when you ask that question is that some people will be diagnosed with stage 1, which is you're going to recover from that. I mean, that is this early stage versus someone like me or someone in stage 4 who is going to have a shorter lifespan. There are more drugs and more treatments, but it doesn't matter the stage because cancer to all of us is just, it's very scary. The idea that we have something growing in us we can't control that could possibly take over our body. And yeah, I mean, I think for me, when I heard that, I definitely went into the rabbit hole of wanting to know the numbers, like what are the statistics, how many people like me are going to survive, what does that look like, etc. And then I realized after I let all that dust settle from the beginning that at some point, and I think you'll connect with this, is that I had to make a determination, right? I had to make a determination to say, okay, I'm going to live and I want to live. And what are the things that I'm going to do to help me do that? And really, it wasn't instant. It didn't happen right away, right? I went into that dark place and really thought a lot about my mortality and what life had been versus what I wanted life to be. But I did make that determination, and got clear that I wanted to stay on the planet.
I think that is probably a good thing. I mean, that serves your mentality and your mindset in a way that fear kind of tries to hamper at times.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we all, when we get thrown the sucker punch, if you will, we can, the instinct is to go to that place of fear. But how can you lovingly accept the fear and then say, hey, I see you. I see you. I see you're scared. I see that this is the unknown. I see that you have to walk this path that maybe you don't know how to do. And then turn it on its head to say, but I love you. And I'm going to get through this. And I'm going to make a determination to stay and do the best that I can.
That is a fantastic mindset to have. And I think mindset is something that is lost a lot in a hospital, is
Oh,
lost a lot in patients
right,
because they see their situation and there's all this beeping, all these nurses, all this death around them,
right.
and they kind of get sucked into that victim mentality, and they see it as just this is the end.
Oh, it's so funny that you use that word victim because just recently I got a card from someone who was really excited about my book coming out and sending me a congratulatory note. And she said, I'm just so glad that I'm so sorry that you were a cancer victim. And I'm so glad you are where you are now. And I have to say, when I read that, the word victim triggered me because I think maybe I let myself feel that way for, a week or two in the beginning. But after that, I got rid of that feeling and I didn't identify with that word. And I think language and the way that we think about things is so important when we're talking about trying to heal our bodies.
Yeah, that's very true because I know I am in a program right now called Silence the Inner Critic. And in it, he talks about there are facts, there are facts, and there are truths. Now, your facts might affect your outlook on something.
Mhm.
And I understand that. No, sorry, your truths
Truths.
might affect your outlook on something, but those aren't the facts. Those are just what's going on in your head. And I find it very interesting that we're talking a little bit about a victim. And you decided you weren't a victim. I decided I'm not a victim.
Right.
I had to go through all this stuff and I'd do it again if I had to. I wasn't a victim.
Right.
It was something that I had to do,
Right.
something that you had to do. And that's just something that people have to accept because life is full of things that we have to do.
That's right.
And some of those things might not be fun.
A lot
But
of those things might not be fun,
yeah, but
but
you
you just,
have to do
yeah,
them.
you have to do them.
So what was how was all right. So let me think. How exactly did you deal with the emotions of knowing that you had this thing growing inside you that you couldn't control?
So what I did is I started to look at the things that I could control, that I thought would make a difference in my healing. So I knew that I could control my diet and that there's a whole host of studies that have come out in cancer research and for other maladies, if you will, that eating the right types of foods and creating a healthy environment in your body can impede cancer growth. I'm not saying that it will cure it, but it is part of the things that I could do to help my body be healthier and heal. So that was one of the things that I looked to control. The other thing for me was normally in a work situation, I am getting things done, I'm making things happen, and I may not be asking for help along the way. But in this situation, I chose to go about this differently, and I asked for a ton of help. I mean, anybody that I could reach out to or had connections or knew someone. I mean, I asked for help understanding what the process was going to be like so that I knew what was coming and that I could prepare. And that really made all the difference.
Yeah. So the thing that I find very very important is you said focus on what you can control.
Right.
Now, you see, when I was in the hospital and I was going through all this stuff to try and get back to walking, try to get out of that wheelchair, I had to go through therapy and they would give me exercises to work on. And I would just work on those constantly. I would
Right.
often do them too long and end up hurting myself, but that has served me well in life so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
the thing is I took those little things that I could control, that I
Right.
could do, and I did those till I got good at them. And then I would move on to the next step. And then the next step. And then the next step.
Right.
And then eventually I got to walking.
Yeah.
Now, it was with the walker at first. Then it moved to a
Right.
cane.
Right.
Then it moved to nothing.
Yeah.
But I did that by focusing on what I could control. I didn't look at what I couldn't control. Now, she also says, ask for help. Now, when I was in the hospital, I'll relate all this back to my story because I like it that way. I'm yeah,
It's
I
your
prob
it's your show.
I know, but yeah, this is my show.
That's right.
So I had to ask for help. Now, these were I had therapists, I had nurses, I had doctors, I had all kinds of stuff around me at that time that were there to help me, and I used them. Yeah, it's not good to say you use somebody, but I used those people because that's what they're there for. There, you see, there are people in your life right now that are there to help you.
That's right.
They might not be there for real long, but they're there to serve a purpose.
That's right.
And that's something that we have to realize.
Mhm.
And I just think that using those people and asking for that help is very important. It might be hard to do because let's face it, we're all kind of proud. We're all kind of egotistical and we don't want to ask for help. We don't want to seem like we need help. But sometimes it's very, very important to get that help. So I need to say hi to a few people.
Okay.
We have Ben Bruce, who is from Lagos, Nigeria. So this is an international show. And then we have Adam Mark Robinson, who is from England somewhere. I'm not sure where. Also an international thing. And then we have the Homestead, Covington, Ohio, which isn't um out of the United States, so that's not international. And then we also have Tom Heck. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'll make sure they get answered. And if not on the air, I'll make sure they get answered after the show. But so I'm curious. Would you suggest those two things for other people that are going through things?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, I'm in North Carolina. Hurricane Helene came through and devastated the western part of the state. Um, and what I've found in trying to help people, over the last 10 days is that, again, I was falling into the old patterns of trying to do it myself, of running myself ragged in terms of helping. And a dear friend reminded me, we talked, she said, I have to check in on you. Are you doing okay? How are your people? I mean, to your point, we didn't lose anybody, which was miraculous, but we definitely had, a handful of people who lost everything. And she reminded me, she said, your book is all about what you need to do and think about when the rug gets pulled out from under you. And the number one thing is ask for help. And just today, I was sitting down, I reached out, I got on the phone, I talked to a couple different people, and I got great suggestions for what I needed and how to help the people that I'm trying to help.
That is awesome. Now, how first of all, I need to say hi to Dave, who is watching us from Troy, Ohio. It's like 7 miles from my house, but it's pretty cool that he's watching. So, hi, Dave. Now, I'm curious, what kind of help did you need from these people?
Well, first, I had the number one thing that I think anyone should do when they get an extreme health diagnosis like cancer is to get a second opinion. But I didn't think about that or know about that until a friend of mine reached out and said, you should talk to this oncologist at this other hospital and get their opinion on how you're doing. And that doctor said, hey, you need to go get a second opinion about your treatment plan. And I needed that help because the treatment plans that two different doctors had for me were different. And that meant that I had to make a choice on what was going to be right for me. And in the end, I chose something that was more aggressive. And I think that's why I'm still here today. I mean, I'm 8 years, cancer free. And
Woo!
and I say that to everybody. I just am preaching second opinions and making sure that you get those. So that was a great help when somebody mentioned that to me.
Yeah, that's so cool. I want to celebrate you and your 8 years. So I am putting that in the comments, and I am hoping everybody out there helps me and Travis celebrate 8 years. Put
Thank
8 years in the comments because that is a feat worth celebrating. I
Yes.
have to say so myself.
Yes.
So you were talking a little bit about a book. Now, can you tell us a little bit about this book and how we can get this book?
Yes. So a year after I finished treatment, sorry, a year after I finished treatment, I decided to, in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which in the United States, and I think also in the UK and Australia, I know for sure, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I decided to write a blog post every day of one thing that helped me get through treatment because I thought to your point, it would be my way of paying it forward to help other people. Fast forward, I had a blog and then the blog disappeared, and that's a long story, but the blog disappeared. And one morning I woke up with an idea for this book, how to organize the information with the intention to really help people going through breast cancer treatment, to help make it easier. Like, here are all the tips. Here's what I learned. Here are the hacks. Here are the things that helped me. And so I put it in what I call a guide. I mean, it is literally a book, but it's a guide. I mean, I really envisioned this as holding someone's hand and walking through treatment with them. So, it's easy to read, it's concise, and it tells my story along the way and gives these 40 tips to help make it easier.
Wow. That's probably extremely valuable. I mean, for
I
somebody that is going through it, I can see the value in that right there.
That's the hope. And it's available. It actually comes out on October 15th. So you're getting a sneak peek into this coming out. And it can be, in the States, it can be ordered at a local bookseller, a local bookstore. I love the independent bookstores. It can also be ordered on any large retailer like an Amazon or a Barnes and Noble. It's available now for order. It's called, you can see it here in my title. It's called Make Room for Healing, 40 Tips from a Breast Cancer Survivor.
That is amazing. Congratulations on that book. And
Thank you.
congratulations on the 8 years cancer free. That I'm telling you, that right there is worth celebrating.
Yes. I try to think about it and celebrate every day.
Oh,
Right?
that is good. My motto is make every second count.
Yeah.
And that is all about celebrating each and every second you have, because you never know when your last one is going to be.
You never
So
know.
that is very poignant. I like your comment there. Now, contact information. Do you have any you want to give out? And you don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, well, I have a website. You can go to travisbrady.com, and it shares more about my story. It shares, I share a video about, why I wrote the book. And then it also has events that I'm doing in the States to help promote the book. And then it has links to my social channels as well. So you can find what you need there.
That is very cool. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a second here to say thank you again. And congratulations on your book and on your 8 years. That is amazing.
Thank you.
But we have unfortunately ran out of time. Now, I need you, Travis, and everybody out there to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. You need to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when those seconds will run out on your one life. I'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, have a fantastic week. Thank you again, Travis.
Thank you. Bye.